actually. So journal entries in the books of some person's name will be given. Okay, so how will the question will be there? Past journal entries in the books of Mr. X or some person's name will be given, and you have to record. You have to pass the journal entries for that particular month, like April or some June or some month. Transactions will be given to you. So right from the day one, suppose if it's for the month of April, means from right from April 1st till April 30th, it can be any month. Okay, so like that they will be giving around some 20 or 25 transactions like that to you. Okay, as a sentence they will be giving the transactions, and you have to pass the journal entries for that. So let us discuss what are the probable journal entries usually we come across in our question papers. So these are the journal entries. Okay, and how to write down. So everything we have to adapt a format in accounts. One thing is very important one is adapting the format. So as per format only you have to write everything. Okay, and next thing, how we are going to make posting and how we are going to calculate all those things also, it depends. So your mark, if format, a basic format itself is, if it is wrong, then they won't give you marks. Okay, so you don't know, even you don't have even basic knowledge about accounting, they will think. Okay, so better try to adapt a specific format, whatever given for that. Journal means what format you have to adapt. Ledger means what format you have to adapt. You must know that. Okay, so as per the format only you have to work out your problem. Okay, so you have to write the heading whenever they ask you some question. You have to write the heading. It must be as per the format. It should be like this. Okay, so journal entries in the books of that person's name or company's name, for the month of which month you are going to pass the journal entries. And next thing, if you see, you have to mention the date. Okay, so every date they will be giving. On first they would have started the business, on fourth they would have purchased something, some goods, and fifth they would have sold some goods. Some transactions will happen in the business daily, so those date has to be mentioned over in the first column. So this is the date column. Since this is a template like thing, so I didn't give any dates here. I have not mentioned. Usually, if they give some transactions with the date only, they will be giving, and you have to mention those dates here. Okay, and next will be your particulars column. Okay, so particulars column, the entries that you are going to make, that you will be recording over here. Okay, so the entries will be generally recorded in this manner. Okay, so you have to write the entries here. And next you will be seeing the amount column. Okay, so amount column, there will be the debit column and the credit column, and one more column you'll be having over here, that is known as LF column, which I have not included. So you have to just include here LF column. Okay, a small column will be provided here, so that is known as LF. So that is ledger folio. Ledger folio means from journal entry. So this is the basic one, first step we are doing in our accounting cycle. So next actually we will be moving on to the ledger. So from here only you will be taking it to ledger posting. So that's what you will be having a LF column, which I have forgot to include here. You just include LF column. A small column in your accounts note will be there. So that column is known as LF column, ledger folio. And amount column, that is debit column one thing and credit column one thing. So whatever you give an amount to the debit, that equal amount should get tallied with the credit column. Okay, so some 20,000 I'm going to debit means that same 20,000 should get tallied with the credit also. Similarly, whatever amount you give in the credit column, some 30,000 or 35,000, same amount should get tallied with the debit column also. So that you have to remember very well, then only the debit and credit column will get tallied. Okay, so or else from this only you are going to make a ledger postings. If initial step journal itself, if it is wrong means, then ledger will be wrong, and trial balance, everything thereafter will get wrong. So better try to avoid mistakes and with utmost care, try to fill the amount column and make entries properly. Okay, so before moving to that, you must be thorough with your golden rules of accounting. What are the three types of accounts and what is the accounting rules for that three types of accounts, that you have to keep it in your mind. Okay, so now let us move to the first transaction. So whatever I have given, number one, number two, all those things are transactions. Okay, generally how the question will be past journal entries in the books of Mr. X for the month of April. Then they will be giving under that certain details. April 1st, started business with cash rupees 2 lakh or rupees 5 lakh. They will be giving you like that. Okay, so that's what I have given you as a simple one. Started business with cash. They will be giving you the amount which has to be filled in the debit and credit column. Okay, so the first transaction will be like this one. So how to make entry? We have to make this entry actually. So how to make this entry? Started business with cash means, so cash is coming into the business. So everything we are going to record from the point of view of the business only. Okay, so we are going to record everything from the point of view of business, not from the point of view of the owner. So according to business entity concept, whatever we have discussed so far, so everything is recorded in the name of the company, in the name of the firm, not in the name of the owner. So if even if you contribute capital to the company, the cash is going into the business. Okay, and capital is always considered as a liability. So this one also already we discussed. So capital is considered as a liability. Why it is considered as a liability? Because the business has to give him back. Okay, whatever he has invested, that amount has to be given back by that business to the owner. So capital is always considered as a liability. So liability means you should always credit it. Okay, so here we are going to debit the cash account. So how we can do, just look it over. So cash account debit. Okay, so debtor usually we name them as cash account debtor to capital account. While telling, we will be telling that cash account debtor to capital account. Okay, so this is debit actually. Okay, so this GR is known as debit. Okay, but while telling how we will pronounce it as cash account debtor to capital account, like that, cash account debtor, plant and machinery account debtor, land and building account debtor, furniture account debtor to capital account. Like this only will be, while reading out or while pronouncing, will be telling like that only. But this is the debit, cash account debit to capital account. So why we have debited cash? Okay, so I'm starting a business. I'm introducing some amount, say for example 2 lakhs or 10 lakhs, whatever might be. So I'm introducing some amount to the business. Started business with cash or commenced business with cash, like that, or introduced capital, like this only transaction will be. Some modifications will be in the sentence, but the main thing, what they have started the business or they have invested some amount in the business, which is known as capital. Okay, so why the why cash account is debited over here? Okay, so actually before that we must know certain things, that cash account is coming under the real account. So first immediately if you see some certain thing, certain transaction, you must come to a conclusion whether it appears in the personal account. So either it comes under personal account or real account, or the third one is the nominal account. So that you must know. Okay, so you must know whether it comes under the personal account or real account or the nominal account. So under which heading it falls under, you must know that. Okay, so as I told you earlier, so the person's name or the bank name, if it comes means, then it comes under the personal account. Whereas under real account, if you see means, all the assets, cash or plant and machinery, land and building, furniture, all the assets will be coming under the real account. Okay, And nominal account means generally all the expenses and losses, incomes and gains. So like salary, interest, commission, discount, all those things are nominal account, comes under the nominal account. Now, so here we have debited cash. Okay, so why we have debited? Because cash is coming into the business. So cash will come under which type of account? You just immediately your mind should think of either personal or real or nominal. So real account, under that only the cash will come under. Okay, now what is the real account rule? Next thing we have to think it over in our mind. Real account, what is the rule? So what is the rule actually for real account? Debit what comes in. Debit what comes in. So what is the real account credit rules? What is the rule for that? Credit what goes out. So this is the real account rule. Okay. So first you have to find out under which type of account it is coming, and after finding out, you have to decide whether it has to be debited or it has to be credited. Okay. So simple logic thing. So if you see cash, as I told, all kinds of assets, right, from including cash, everything will come under the real account only. Okay. So cash, what is now actual situation? You have started the business and you have introduced cash into your business. So what is happening? Cash is coming into the business. So it is coming into the business. So if the amount or cash is coming into the business, then what it has to be done? Debit what comes in. So because of that, what you are doing? Cash account debit. I think it will be clear now. Okay, so immediately if you see a transaction, first you have immediately what should come to your mind, under which type of account it is coming, what has to be debited, what has to be credited, whether if it is a real account in nature, then what is the rule for that, and what is coming into the business, that you have to debit. So since cash is coming into the business, real account, since cash is a real account, so debit what comes in, cash account has got debited here. Okay, so if they have mentioned some amount here, means 5 lakh or 6 lakh something, you have to put that amount here in the debit column. And the next, why two capital account has came over here? So capital account, drawings account, all those things actually it comes under the personal account. So since capital account, even though I have started the business and I have contributed the amount, that capital is considered as a liability. That business has to pay me back again. So because of that only, I'm crediting the capital account. So liability means it is always credit only. Okay. So that's what two capital account we have given here. Okay. So since all these everything entries I have made, usually while working out the problem, we'll be writing each one by one. But here I have done everything already. I have done. So if you get some confusions around, so just you can stop me and ask also. Okay. So how the entry will be? Will be the transaction question, and our entry will be cash account debit to capital account, cash account data to capital account. And this sentence, whatever I have given in bracket, that sentence is known as narration. Narration, narration. A brief explanation about the entry, whatever I made. Okay, so usually in our answer papers, what we will do, no, we don't write this transaction and all. We will be writing as per format, heading will be writing, and format we will be writing like this, columns we will be drawing, but we don't write the transaction and all. Straight away we'll put the date and we will post the entries here. We'll just pass the journal entries here. So immediately if you want to understand about that, a brief explanation is required about that entry whatever we made. For that purpose only we are giving them in the narration. Okay, so within brackets, Being, it will be started with being. Okay, being started business with cash. So even you, from the question, from the transaction itself, you can write it over. Being started business with cash or commenced a business with cash, like that you can frame some simple sentences which will be easily understandable soon after seeing that. Okay, so this is also a compulsory one. Okay, so this is our entry and this will be the narration actually. Mm, okay. And next, you'll be writing over all your amount in the debit and credit column. Okay, so you'll be just filling it over here. Here, 5 lakhs, if you debit means credit column also, you should show 5 lakhs only. Hope this first entry would be understandable to all. Okay, so this is our transaction and you have to make like this entry and you have to write a narration here. Whatever amount is given, that amount has to be fulfilled. You have to fill that in the debit and credit column. Okay, and next, moving on to the second. Suppose some business will be starting only with the cash. Certain business, no, while starting up itself, they will be bringing plant and machinery, furniture, something, land and building, they will be bringing it into the business. So in that case, how our entry will be. So the second transaction is all about that one only. Okay, so some business will be starting only with cash. Okay, so because of that cash account, we have debited. Real account rule, debit what comes in, cash is coming into business, so cash account debited. But some business, no, but they will be bringing even the assets to the business. Some liabilities also will be there. Okay, so it just I have noted only the assets here. So how the entry will be, assets introduced into the business. This will be our transaction. Assets brought forward to the business, like that they will be giving the transaction. Now you have to make the entry. Okay, so how to make that entry? So again, you have to think it over. Whatever information given in the as transaction in your question, for that, what type of account it will appear? First, you have to identify that. Okay, then you have to go in for what rule it is actually. So it is debit or credit. You have to analyze and think it over there. So if the assets are brought even apart from cash, if they are bringing some assets means even that assets also to be debited, because this is also comes under real account. So plant and machinery also comes under real account only. Land and building, even that is asset. So real account. Furniture, it is real account. As we know, cash is already, it is coming under real account. Last entry we had made. So real account, it appears actually. So what kind of assets, whatever assets might be, it is it comes under the real account. And next, if you see, you have to apply over the rule. So next, immediately your mind should strike out that what is the rule for real account. Real account rule is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So you have to think it over that all the assets, if it is brought into the business, then it is coming into the business. Okay, so logically it is coming into the business. So then what is the rule? Debit what comes in. You have to debit what comes in. So what all things coming into the business? Cash is coming into the business, plant and machinery is coming, land and building is coming, furniture is also coming into the business. So everything is coming into the business. So whatever comes into the business, that has to be debited. So because of that, cash account debit, plant and machinery account debit, land and building account debit, furniture account debit. Okay, so yeah, all transactions we cannot expect some. This is the you can use this as a template. Okay, so what all possible things can be asked in our question paper, that only we can discuss here. So at every question paper you cannot expect this like this same thing. Certain business will be started only with cash in some question paper. Some questions they will be having started business with cash and plant and machinery something. So whatever might be, basically according to the questions asked, transactions given, you have have to make the entries here. Okay, so now I think you would have understood that real account rule, debit what comes in. So everything coming into the business, so I have debited everything. Now everything has been debited, so what to credit now? To capital account. Okay, so to capital account I'm writing over here. So already what we wrote here, that one only we are bringing it over here also. So to capital account. So since capital is considered as a liability and it has to be paid back by the business to the owner, I am crediting this capital account. Liabilities will always be in the credit. Okay, so you have to credit them. So because of that, to capital account. So you have to write our narration once again. Being assets brought forward into business or introduced into the business, whatever sentence accordingly, according to transaction, you can copy it from there also and you can finish it off with the narration. Okay, so even you might miss your marks even in the narration. So just adapt the same format. Now you have to fill in the amount column, debit and credit column. Okay, so you have to see whether the equal debit is given with the equal credit. Suppose take for example with 20,000 of cash I am starting in my business and my plant and machinery is worth rupees 1 lakh something. Okay, so all these amount will be given in the question. So and then building worth of 4 lakhs like that if I am starting up my business, and furniture worth some 50,000 like that if I am starting up my business. So now you have to total these all these things. So 20,000 plus 1 lakh, 1 lakh 20 and 4 lakh, 5 lakh 20. So 5 lakh 70 I think so. So you have to give 5 lakh 70,000 here. Okay, so whatever amount you are giving in the debit column, the same corresponding amount should be given in the credit column. Okay, so that you should not forget. Sometimes here you have brought only the assets into the business. Sometimes even liabilities will be brought forward to the business. Some questions it might have. That time what to do? You should not debit. Okay, so you should not debit the liability. So to capital account, in that itself, two liabilities, whatever liabilities given to you, to that particular liability account, you must note it down in the credit only. You have to give two liabilities, concern liabilities, some bills payable or creditors like that. So something will be given to you. So that you have to credit only. At that time, equally again it should get tallied. Okay, equally it should get tallied, both assets and liabilities, that it should get tallied. Debit and credit column should get tallied. Okay, suppose 1 lakh of liabilities if I'm having means, then I cannot post here 5 lakh 70,000. Here totally it's 5 lakh 70,000. Here it's 1 lakh. So I should show only 4 lakh 70,000 like that. Okay, suppose if it is here, if you have some liabilities to credit here, then at that time I'm saying this. Okay, or else just to capital account, that 5 lakh 70,000 you will be showing. Okay, so everything it depends upon the question. So some questions, transactions will be just starting up the business with cash. Most probably you will be getting like that only. Some questions they may even bring it some assets and some liabilities into the business while starting up the business. That time your entry will be like this. Okay, whatever things, whatever real assets or assets brought into the business, that has to be debited because it is coming into the business. Okay, so this will be the first two entries. Okay, and moving to the next one. Okay, so deposited or paid cash into bank. So you are running a business, started a business and you are running a business. So what you might have lot of dealings with the bank. Okay, so you might deposit some amount into the bank, you might withdraw some amount from the bank. So in that situations, how to make entries? Okay, so they will be giving you the date on 3rd April or 5th April, some date will be given, so that you have to note down in the date column here. Okay, and how to, this will be the our transaction. paid cash into bank rupees 40,000 or deposited cash into bank rupees 40,000, like that they will be giving some amount to you. So that will be your question transaction. Now you no need to write the transaction and all under the format. You no need to write all those things. Only entry and narration is required from your side. You no need to uh, write over all the transactions here. Okay. So you need to write only the entry and narration for that, and you have to fill the debit column and credit column and see whether it is getting tallied, both the amount. Okay, so now how to make entry? If you are going to deposit cash into bank, how to make entry for that? Now I have given my entry as bank account debit to cash account. So we might pronounce as bank account debtor to cash account, like that also we'll be pronouncing. So bank account is debited and cash account is credited here. So how this entry has been made? So immediately, if you see the transaction as paid cash into bank, now what is going out of the business? So I am going to deposit into bank means my cash is going from my business. So I should not show the cash account in the same with the same amount now. Okay, so 2 lakhs I have invested in my business. I have started my business means in the 2 lakhs, if I am taking 10,000 and I am going to deposit it in my bank account means how I can show 2 lakh still in my cash account. I should not show. I can show only 1 lakh 90,000. No, 10,000 is going out of my business. So for that purpose only, I am crediting the cash account. So to cash account, I will be giving, and that amount has to be filled in the credit column 10,000. Okay, so why cash account has been credited here? Because cash comes under the real account. And what is the real account rule? Credit what goes out. So cash is going out of my business. So I am crediting the cash account. So it comes under the real account, and crediting the cash account. What is the purpose? Because cash is going out of my business. So I have to reduce my cash account and show it in my books of accounts. So I cannot show that same 2 lakhs if I have invested means 2 lakhs I cannot show. I have to reduce that. So real account rule is what? Credit what goes out. What is going out of my business? Cash is going out. So to cash account I'll be writing over here, and in credit column 10,000 I'll be mentioning. Now be an equal credit. For every debit there should be an equal credit. Similarly, for every credit there should be an equal debit. That is the dual aspect concept, double entry system. So what account has to be debited? Here I have debited bank account. So why I have debited this bank account? So bank actually comes under which type of account? Immediately our mind should think of. So it comes under actually personal account. So what is the personal account? Individual persons, or if it is there, it will come under personal account, or if it is even the bank. So that also comes under the personal account only. So what is the personal account rule? Debit the receiver. So debit the receiver. So what is the credit account rule for personal? Credit the giver. Okay. So what is the personal account rule? Debit the receiver. So if I am going to deposit into my bank account, who is the receiver now? Bank is the receiver. So that purpose only I have debited the bank account. So debit the receiver means if I am depositing cash into my bank account, then bank will be the receiver. So you can also write over here, since he is the receiver, I am debiting here. Okay, since he is the receiver, I am debiting here. And since cash goes out of my business, just to make you understand, I'm just noting down this one. You should not enter all those details. Okay, only entries and narration should be there. So why I have debited bank account means because personal account rule it comes under, and debit the receiver, bank is going to receive my money. So I'm debiting the bank account. Why I'm crediting the cash account means since cash is going out of the business, cash comes under real account, and cash it what goes out, credit what goes out. So cash is going means I have to credit that. It goes out. Okay, credit what goes out. Hope you would have understood, I think so. So this is the narration. You can take from the transaction itself and write over the narration, being cash deposited into bank or paid cash into bank, whatever which is understandable and easy for you, can write in that form your narration, or else you can copy even from the transaction question given. So whatever the amount 10,000 means, here also you have to show the same 10,000. Even in the credit column also you have to show that same 10,000. You should not you should check over whether the debit and credit column gets tallied. Okay, so for you can understand any doubts you have from your side for the two transactions, whatever we discussed so far? Any doubts you have?
No, ma'am.
Shall I proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me move to the next one. Withdrawn cash from bank. Okay, so withdrawn cash from bank. Just what to say? Just ulta. Whatever you have made here, just you are going to make the reverse entry. Okay, so these are the probable entries that we can usually come across. So that's what I made this one. So withdrawn cash from bank. Okay, so you're going, if you are depositing means cash is going out of the business. Similarly, if you are withdrawing cash from the bank means that too for office use, if you are going to use means, then what is coming into the business from bank, it is coming to our account, cash account, you are debiting here. Okay, so cash account you are debiting and bank account you are crediting here. So what is the purpose of cash account debit? Because your it is coming to your business. Previously it's not like that. So cash is going out of the business, so because of that real account rule, what goes out, credit what goes out, cash account I have credited here. But here it's not like that. Cash is going to come into my business from bank account. I am going to withdraw some 5,000 like that I have deposited, but now I am going to withdraw some 3,000 or 4,000, whatever might be. So cash is that 3,000 is coming to my account, to my business, it's coming back again. So cash actually comes under which type of account, that your mind should think of. So it comes under which type of account, real account it comes under. And either I have to debit or credit. Next my mind should come. Either I have to debit or credit, that I have to think it over. Now I am going to withdraw from bank. That cash is coming back again to my business. So coming in. So what comes in? Cash comes in. So I have to do like this. Cash account debtor, cash account debit. Because real account rule is what? What comes in? Cash is coming in, so I have to debit that. Okay, and what I have to credit? Bank account. Just I told earlier, it's just a reverse. If I'm going to deposit, this will be my entry, and if I'm going to withdraw, just the ult of that, reverse of that, your entry will be here. Cash account debit to bank account. Why I have credited the bank account to bank account? Why I have given, why I have credited this bank account? Because bank comes under which type of account? It comes under the personal account. So personal account rule is what? Credit the giver. Okay, so personal account rule is credit the giver. So I'm going to credit the bank account, credit the giver. You need not write this accounting rule side. Okay, so just to make you easily understandable, I'm giving it over here. So bank is the giver, personal account rule, credit the giver. So bank account I am crediting. So this will be our entry, cash account debit to bank account, being cash withdrawn from bank. Okay, so usually our transaction will be like this. You have to make entries, you have to mention the date, and you have to give the narration. Whatever amount specified in the question, that amount you have to fill it over here. 4,000 or 5,000, whatever it might be, debit and credit column should get tallied here. Okay, so this is our fourth transaction. So far we have seen business initially, if they are starting up with cash means what would be the entry, and if they are bringing cash as well as some kinds of assets also, how the entries has to be made. And then if they are depositing cash into bank, then what will be our entry, and if the cash is withdrawn from the bank, what will be our entry. Okay, next, if moving to the drawings. So whenever in your transaction question, if you come across for personal use, withdrawn cash for personal use, personal use term, if you come across itself, you must immediately think it over about the drawings. Okay, so you have to think it over about the drawings. Okay, so you are withdrawing amount. So debit, it is actually, it is a loss for the company. It is actually you are going to withdraw for your personal use. So it is actually it can be considered as a loss or a loss for the business. Okay, so drawings account we usually debit. Okay, so drawings account we usually debit. So nominal account rule, debit all expenses and losses. Okay, all expenses and credit all incomes and gains. Okay, so they always we used to debit the drawings account. So personal use term, if you come across itself, drawing should come into your mind. So drawings account always be debit. Capital account always we used to credit. Okay, capital account we always used to credit to capital account, but drawings we usually debit that one. Okay, so drawings it has to be debited, and withdrawing cash for personal use. So you have taken some around 2,000 or 3,000, whatever might be amount from your business you have taken. Okay, so you have taken some amount. So that amount if you have taken means cash is what happening here. Cash is going out of the business. So that's what we are crediting the cash account. Okay, so cash account we generally we credit here because it is going out of the business. Credit what goes out. Real account rule is your cash account will be credited to cash account because cash is going out of the business. Real account rule, credit what goes out, and drawings account you have to debit it because it is a loss or the expense like thing for the business. Okay, so capital account means you have to credit, drawings account means you have to debit. Keep it that in mind. And next, moving on to withdrawn cash from bank for personal use. Okay, withdrawn cash from bank for personal use. Here, something added here. So in previous transaction, if you see previous two transaction, withdrawn cash from bank. Next, withdrawn cash for personal use. Now, withdrawn cash from bank for personal use. So, sentence, each and every sentence keenly you have to watch it over and then you have to make the entries. Abruptly, you should not make some entries, wrong entries here. So, if you are withdrawing cash from bank, cash is coming into the business and bank will be the giver. So, I am debiting cash account and credit bank account. If I am using the cash and withdrawing cash from my business for personal use, then this will be the entry. Drawings account I am debiting and cash account I am crediting because cash is going out of the business. Okay, here withdrawn cash from bank. Bank itself from straight away from bank I am withdrawing, that too for my personal use. I am not for the office use. If anything is not mentioned, you have to consider it as office use. Cash withdrawn from bank, here it is considered as for office use. But whenever if you come across the term personal use means you better debit the drawings account. Okay, so you have to debit the drawings account only for personal use terminology if you come across. Okay, so drawings account we have to debit. and to which account, because if it is withdrawn cash for personal use means from business I am taking, then I can credit the cash account, but I am taking from the bank, okay, for my personal use, so I have to credit the bank account. Why I am crediting means bank, it comes under the personal account. So what is the personal account rule? Personal account credit the giver. So since bank is giving to me, so for my personal use, so because of that I am debiting the drawings account and crediting the bank account. So sentence itself it gets varied. Okay, so you have to carefully listen to these transaction and make entries accordingly. So what has been given there, okay, how we have to post the entries, that we have to think over. And next thing you have to think what type of account it is coming actually, and what is the accounting rule for that. Either I have to debit or credit, that you have to think over. And narration you have to write, and debit column credit column should get tallied. All those things you should take care of while making the journal entries. So withdrawn cash from bank for personal use means, since personal use is given, I am debiting the drawings account. Since I am taking it from the bank, I am crediting the bank account, because bank is a personal account, credit the giver, so bank account I'm crediting. Okay, so if this bank is not mentioned, withdrawn cash for personal use means there I will be crediting the cash account instead of bank. Okay, so if bank specifically given, bank account only you have to credit. If bank is not mentioned, cash account you have to credit. Okay, so just take care of these two entries. And already we discussed about how to withdraw withdrawn cash from bank means how the entry should be, and deposited cash into bank means how the entry should be there. So if suppose for office use give, if they have given also same entry only, withdrawn cash from bank, this entry only, withdrawn cash from bank for from off for office user, for office use if they have given, then same this entry only. Personal use means only instead of that you have to mention as drawings here. Okay, so drawings has to be given. Okay, so for personal use if they give, instead of cash account you have to make as drawings account. Okay, next we can move for the withdrawn goods for personal use. If they are going to take out some goods for their own personal use, then personal use means you have to debit the drawings account. Okay, personal account if they give personal use if they give itself, drawings account has to be debited. That you should not forget. And to which account I have to credit? Generally goods. So generally if I make some purchase only, I can withdraw from that. Okay, so if I am purchasing for 1 lakh worth of goods from a particular person or something, that from that 1 lakh worth of goods only I can withdraw for my personal use. So for that purpose only we are just giving as two purchases account, because purchases account anymore I cannot show 1 lakh from some around 20,000 worth I have taken, 1 lakh I have purchased, but 20,000 around I have taken for my personal use means how can I show it as 1 lakh? I can show only 80,000 in my purchases account. Okay, so for that purpose only I am two purchases account we are crediting here. So drawings account debit to purchases account. Let me repeat once more. If they have given withdrawn goods for personal use, if the name, if you come across the term personal use means first you have to debit the drawings account. That is default. And next what I have to credit. So what I have to credit means now I'm withdrawing goods. So what this goods actually I would have purchased earlier. Okay, so on first or second April I would have purchased something around 1 lakh like that. But now I'm going to take around 30,000 something from that 1 lakh. Then 70,000 only actually in my purchases account. I cannot show that same 1 lakh. So because of that only I'm going to just credit my purchases account to purchases account. Okay, so my goods is going out of my business for my personal use, I'm taking it. Okay, so because of that I'm going to credit the purchases account because credit what goes out. Real account rule, credit what goes out. It is going out of my business goods. So I cannot mention here two goods account. I cannot give here. Okay, purchases account only I should give here. Okay, so here goods they have mentioned. So let me mention goods here. No, you should not mention. So from the purchases, whatever I have made only from that goods only, I am going to take for my personal use. So because of that, I have to credit to purchases account. And a small narration is also required being goods withdrawn for personal use. So whatever transaction in that transaction, whatever amount given 30,000 or something that you have to mention in the debit column near drawings account debit straight away to that 30,000. To purchases account straight away to that 30,000. So debit and credit column should get tallied there. Okay, so like this only if the you have to make the entries for withdrawn goods for personal use. And moving on to the next part. So next entry, purchased goods for cash. This is our transaction. If they are giving this as your transaction, now how to make entries for that? Okay, so generally they will be mentioning the date. They will be giving the date for you on 15th or 18th something, 18th April or something like that. They will be giving the date. Purchased goods for cash worth. Purchase goods for cash. Sometimes instead of purchased, bought goods for cash. Okay, bought goods for cash. Like that they will be giving you rupees 40,000 or rupees 30,000, something, some amount they will be giving you. Now, how to make entries for that? Okay, so generally if you are purchasing, goods is coming into your business. Okay, if you are purchasing some goods, goods is coming into your business. If you are purchasing some asset, asset is coming into your business. And what is going out? If you are paying immediately cash for that, cash is going out of the business. Okay, so logically you have to think it over. So now purchased goods for cash. So you should not mention goods is coming into the business. So I will debit goods account. No, it's wrong. So instead of if you are going to purchase goods or bought goods means you have to use the terminology called purchases. This is what I discussed in last class. Goods, merchandise, commodities, for all the thing you have to use purchase and sales only. If concerned asset has been purchased, like furniture purchased or plant and machinery purchased or land and building purchased means you have to debit that concerned asset account. Okay, furniture account debit or land and building account debit. Like that you have to pass the entry. But whenever goods has been mentioned, bought goods or purchased goods like that, then you have to mention it as purchases account only. You should not mention as goods account like that. Okay, so then you don't know basic accounting also, you don't know, they will be thinking out. So you just write it as purchases account. Now why we are debiting this purchases account? Because goods is coming into my business. So what is the actually goods, cash, everything are tangible one. Okay, tangible assets in nature. So tangible assets will come under the real account. So what is the now coming into the business? Goods is coming into the business. So what I have to do? Debit what comes in. What comes in? Goods comes in. So goods I should not debit. Goods account I should not debit. Instead of that, purchases account I have to debit. Okay, so purchases account will be debited. Okay, whatever amount that you will be writing it over in the debit column. Okay, next to cash account. Now after debiting you should give a credit compulsorily. So now what account I have to credit? Now goods is coming into the business, so I have debited purchase account. Now cash is going out of my business. Okay, so cash is going from my business. So cash actually comes under which type of account? It comes under the real account. So real account rules is what? Credit what goes out. So what is going out? Credit what goes out means cash is going out. So I have to adapt the real account rule, credit what goes out. So cash is going out of my business. So to cash account I have posted here. So purchases account, goods is coming in. So goods coming in. So goods is coming in. So what comes in, I am debiting under real account. Cash is going out. Okay. So what goes out, I am crediting. So instead of goods, you have to mention purchases, and cash account you have to credit. So these two things comes under which type of account? Real account. And you no need to write all those things, just for your easy understandable thing only I have given here. So next, if you see, you have to write over a narration. Being goods purchased for cash, or being goods bought for cash, whatever might be sentence, accordingly you can write it over simply. Okay, and you have to mention the amount in debit and credit column. You have to give the amount. Equally, it should get tallied. So next, moving on to the purchased furniture. Next transaction will be purchased furniture worth rupees 50,000 or 40,000, whatever might be. They will be giving you in the question itself. Now, how to make entries for that? You just think goods means you have to write instead of goods, you have to mention as purchases. Similarly, instead of goods here, yeah, they have given you furniture. So better debit the furniture account. Okay, so instead of goods, they if they have mentioned any specific asset like this, that account has to be debited. Why I am debiting? Furniture comes under which type of account? Personal, real, nominal. Three types of account. Furniture and all kinds of assets, cash including everything, comes under real account only. Now what is coming into my business? Furniture is coming into my business. So furniture account I am debiting. So what is coming in? What comes in? Real account rule. What comes in? So I am debiting the furniture account. Now if I purchase furniture, what is going out of my business? Cash is going out of my business. So cash, it goes out. Real account rule. So this one I have to debit, and this one I have to credit. So furniture is coming into my business. So real account rule, debit what comes in. So furniture account debit. So just instead of this purchases, goods means purchases I am using. Instead of that, I am going to use the asset name here. Okay. So cash is going out of my business. So credit what goes out? Real account rule. So to cash account. The amount whatever mentioned in the question, you just write it over here in the debit and credit column and give out the narration. So here, if they have mentioned for cash also, same meaning only. Purchased furniture, if they give just like that also, it is assumed that for cash only. Okay, so that I will be explaining in the next entries. So whether they have given for cash, or just like that they have given purchased furniture or purchased goods, like that if they have given means, default, on default you have to understand that it is for cash only. It has been made in the cash purchase, not credit purchase. Okay, so when you have to consider it as a credit purchase means, whenever the person's name is given to you. Okay, whenever the person's name is given to you, then that time you have to consider it as a credit purchase. And let me tell one more thing here itself. If they give the person's name and cash both included together, then you have to again consider it as a cash purchase only. Okay, let me repeat it out before moving on to further. Let me tell out clearly. If they have been mentioned as goods, then obviously you have to use the terminology purchases. If they are purchasing, purchases you will be using. If they are selling goods means sales you should use. Okay, but for assets you have to use that specific name only. You should not use purchases. That you should be clear. Okay, and next thing, what you must remember is that if they give only purchased goods or purchased furniture, just like that, you have to think it as a cash purchase only. They have bought furniture for cash only. They have bought goods for cash only. You have to assume it. If they mention some person's name only, then that time you have to consider it as a credit purchase or credit sales. Okay, so if they give person's name, then you have to consider it as a credit purchase or credit sales. And if they give both person's name and as well as for cash, if they specifically give, you have to consider again it as a cash purchase only. If they didn't mention cash purchase, if they mention person's name, it is credit purchase. Person's name along with cash means cash purchase only. Anything if it is not given also cash only. Cash is given also cash only. Person name and cash are given cash only. Person's name only means then credit purchase. Okay, same thing applies even for the sales when you are making sales also. Okay, so I think these two entries will be clear to you now. And moving on to the next one. In case credit purchase if I am making, then easily as I told earlier, they will be giving purchased goods. Goods means purchases only you should use. Okay, goods means purchases or sales only you have to use. Okay, you should not use goods. Okay, so purchased goods means bought goods means purchases account. Sold goods means sales account. Okay, that you have to remember. Purchased goods from Mr. X. So immediately if a transaction is given to you, you have to find out whether it is a cash purchase or credit purchase. Immediately your mind should strike out that. So if a person's name only mentioned, then you have to consider it as a credit purchase. If for cash here it has been given, then it is a cash purchase. Person's name alone means it's a credit purchase. Then how to make entries for that? As you know already, purchases account we usually what we will do, debit here. Okay, same thing only here also we are going to debit. Why we are debiting purchases account? Goods account you should not debit. Purchases account only have to debit. Why you are debiting? Real account, goods is coming into my business. So real account rule is what? Debit what comes in. So goods is coming into my business. So I am debiting the purchases account. Okay, debit what comes in, real account rule. Now credit, I have given to Mr. X account. Actually the person who started the business is X. So let me give purchase goods from Mr. Y. Let me give. Okay. So let me give as Y because the person who has started the business also I have given X. Okay. So be how to credit this Mr. Y account. So what you are going to do is instead of cash account here I have credited the cash account. If it is for cash means cash I am crediting because cash goes out. So but here I am crediting the person's name. Okay, why I am crediting the person's name? Usually, if any person's name is given over here, you should consider it as a personal account, right? Person's name is given means bank is given means what you have to do? You have to consider it as a personal account. So, person's name means personal account. What is the personal account rule? Just go through the rule. Personal account rule, since it person's name is given. So what is the rule? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So we cannot debit because he is giving to me. Okay. So Y is giving to me. Okay. So I should not debit him. He is not a receiver. He is a giver. If I am purchasing means he will be the giver. Okay. So I have to credit that person's name. Credit the giver. Personal account rule, credit the giver because he is giving to me, is giving to me, credit the giver. Personal account rule, credit the giver. So I am crediting that person's name to Mr. Y account. Okay. So here you have just included two cash account here. Okay. Cash account you have included. Instead of this cash account, what you are going to do? You are going to credit that person's name because he is the giver. He is giving goods to me. Okay, so because he is the giver, the personal account rule credit the giver. So to Mr. Y account I have given here. Okay, so this is the narration being purchased goods from Mr. Y or bought goods from Mr. Y. Okay, so far what we have discussed with respect to the purchases, yeah, purchased goods for cash. One thing, if you are purchasing some asset, what would be your entry like furniture or some, suppose land and building means land and building account debit you will be giving, or plant and machinery means plant and machinery debit. Okay, and if suppose if you are purchasing goods and that too from a person name specifically given, then you have to consider it as a credit purchase. So you have to credit the person's name instead of cash account. So here it is cash, so that you have credited the cash account. But here you have to mention the person's name. Purchases account debit to Mr. Y account. Okay. And next moving on to the other one. Okay. Purchased goods from Mr. Mr. Y. Okay. Purchased goods from Mr. Y for cash. Okay. Purchased goods from Mr. Y for cash. Okay, so now to make entry. So since goods is coming into my business, I'll be debiting the purchases account. Okay, so goods is coming into the business. So goods comes under real account. So what is the real account rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, goods is coming into my business. I am debiting the purchases account. Okay, what comes in? So purchase account I am debiting, and to cash account I'm crediting the cash account. Why? Because I'm purchasing goods from a person, but it is for a cash. Okay, so cash is going out of my business. If it is given only Mr. Y means then it is credit purchase. I have to consider it as a credit purchase. But they have mentioned specifically for cash means then you have to not consider it as a credit purchase. It is a cash on the spot on delivery. I'm going to pay him that Mr. Y. I'm going to pay him immediately. Okay, so that then you have to credit the cash account, because cash I have to lower the amount and show. I cannot say show that same amount what previously I have shown before. So I have to reduce the value and show in my cash account. So cash is going out of my business there. So I have to credit the cash account, credit what goes out. So cash account I am crediting. So purchases account debit because goods coming into my business. Real account rule is debit what comes in, and cash to cash account because cash is going out of my business even though person's name is given. For cash they have given. So I have purchased it for cash. So cash is going out of my business. So credit what goes out, cash is going out. So to cash account being purchased goods from Mr. Y for cash. Just like that, this one itself we can give it in narration, or bought goods, or being goods purchased from Mr. Y for cash. Anything you can write it over accordingly as your wish. And you have to give the debit and credit with that same amount. Whatever amount given in the transaction, you have to give it in the debit and credit column. And till this, I think so everyone would be clear about purchases entry. So maximum number of entries only I have given you over here. So here at the most, yeah, you cannot expect more than this in any kind of transactions. At the most, what all entries can be done probably will be appearing. That one only I have given you it over here. So more than that, it will not come in your exams. Okay, so next moving on to the sales entries. So how to make sales entries? Okay, so if it is for cash, if it is nothing is given, also cash only. Okay, sold goods just like that, they if they left it out, it is for cash. Sold goods for cash means also it is cash sales only. Sold goods to a particular person means that particular person you have to mention. Okay, sold goods to Mr. Is that, let me take it out. Okay, so let us first discuss this first entry and then we can go back to other things. Sold goods for cash or sold goods. whatever might be same meaning only. It is for cash only. Okay, if I am going to sell the goods, uh, what is coming into my business, what is going out of my business, this we should think. Okay, so what is coming into my business? If I'm selling some asset, or selling my bike or car or something in my real life, so what is going, that car or that bike is going from me, and what is coming, cash is coming. Okay, so like that same thing, if I am selling goods, goods terminology term, if you see itself, you should not use goods account. You should not use purchases account or sales account. You should use that two only. Okay, sold goods for cash. Then if I am selling means cash is coming in. Okay, so cash is coming into my business. So cash generally it comes under the real account. And what is coming into my business? Cash is coming in. So debit what comes in. So cash is coming. So I am going to debit the cash account. And moving on to the two sales account. I should not, goods is going out of my business. So I should credit two goods account. No, it's wrong. You have to mention two sales account. I have sold goods. So goods is going out of the business. Real account rule is credit what goes out. So I have to credit the goods account. I have to just credit it. Okay. So I have to credit the, I have to just credit the goods account. Okay. What goes out, so I have to credit the goods sales account. So I should not mention goods here, I have to mention it as sales. So this will be the entry for sold goods for cash, being goods sold for cash. So if the transaction is like this, sold goods to Mr. Izzat. Okay, if it is Mr. Izzat, I am going to sell the goods to a customer who is named as Mr. Izzat. Then what would be my entry? Soon after, if you see a person's name, then it is considered it as a credit sales. So how purchases is two different types. One is cash purchase, other one is credit purchase. Similarly, for sales, you will be having cash sales and the credit sales. So here, credit sales has been made up. Okay, so they have not given for cash. If they have given for cash here, then it is considered as a cash sales. Here they have given only person's name. So it is credit sales. So how to make entries for this? See here, I have sold goods. Okay, so what is going out of my business? Goods is going out of my business. So goods, what goes out? Okay, so I should not give as goods. I have to mention here sales only. So what goes out? Goods goes out. So I should not mention it as goods. So instead of that, I have to give it as sales. So two sales account is confirmed now. Now what I should debit? If it is for cash sales means here cash account, I have cash is coming in. So cash account I have debited here. But here I should not mention cash because it has been given a person's name, Mr. Izzat. So Mr. Izzat account I am going to debit. What is the reason behind that? Izzat account or person's name comes under the personal account. Personal account rule is what? Personal account rule is debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now Izzat is receiver. You are going to sell. He is going to get that goods. So Mr. Izzat is the receiver. So I have to debit his account. He is going to receive my goods. So he is the receiver here. So debit the receiver. So I am debiting the Mr. Izzat account. Mr. Izzat account data to sales account. So being goods sold to, just mention it as Mr. Izzat. So they will be giving some names like that. So Mr. Izzat account debit to sales account, being goods sold to Mr. Izzat. Now the same question, if they give us sold goods to Mr. Izzat for cash. If they give like this, it is that for cash, whenever they mention means that is for cash only. Okay, so not for credit. Only person's name means credit. Other than that, everything is cash. Consider it as a cash purchase and cash sales only. Okay, so sold goods to Mr. Reset for cash. How to make entry? Same whatever you did here, no, that same entry only. Again, you're going to repeat it over here. Only thing is they have included a person's name. You should not get confused. A person's name has been given here. So entries will be different. No, nothing like that. So whatever you have given here as a entry, that same entry only again it will be reflected over here. Okay, so not to get confused. Okay, so Mr. Reset, a person name has additionally been given. You just skip it out. Just look for this word only for cash. So you have to consider it for cash only. So if you are selling to Mr. Reset and you are receiving cash means what is coming into the business? Cash is coming into the business. So cash is comes under real account. Real account rule is what? Debit what comes in. So cash is coming in. So what comes in? Cash is coming in. So debiting the cash account debit to sales account. So if you are selling goods, what is going out? Goods are going out of the business. So sales account I am going to credit it. Okay, to sales account. What goes out? To sales account. So cash account debit to sales account. Being goods sold to Mr. Is that person's name you have to include your for cash. Okay, being goods sold to Mr. Reset for cash. You have to make a narration and fill it your debit and credit column. Okay. Any doubts you have so far? Any doubts you have till this right from the beginning? Right from the beginning, has anyone got doubt? Just you
Ma'am,
tell.
ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, sums are clear, ma'am.
What
But
is not clear?
sums are all cleared, which we are
Okay.
teach. But
Okay.
please list out some entries, list out some accounts which are come under real and which are come under personal. It should be in a tabular column that like, ma'am. Because I forgot, I always forgot that and I confused to entry like that.
Okay. Even I too have that in my mind. Okay, so what are the items? Usually we will be having the cash account. Yesterday also I showed you one PPT. In that I was mentioning that cash account will come under real, machinery will come under real, person's name will be coming under personal account. Yesterday also I was, I think so, I have discussed in one of my PPT slide. In last accounting rules I have discussed. Just a minute. Like this. See, whenever a person's name is given, no, like a particular person named Ram, Ravi, or some Radha, something name like that, then automatically it will come under the personal account only. And then cash, machinery, land and building, furniture, all kinds of assets, always it comes under real account only. And salary, interest, discount allowed, discount received, and then wages, whatever you are paying, and then commission if you pay, commission if you receive, whatever might be comes under the nominal account. This has been already yesterday I discussed. Okay, so base probably this much only you will be getting. Okay, so purchases account means you have to debit that, all these things you have to remember. Okay, so let me tell out like cash account means it comes under the real account only. Okay, and person's name has been given like X, Y, or some person's name. Okay, so those things will come under always the personal account only. Okay, can you view this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Let me. Okay. So whenever a person's name is given, it comes under personal account only. Either you have to debit that person or credit that person. If it is a, if he is the receiver, debit the receiver. If he is a giver, then credit that giver. Okay. And if suppose bank is given, then that also appears under personal account only. Okay. So either he is a receiver means bank. If he is a receiver means you have to debit that bank account. If he is a giver means you have to credit that bank account. Okay. And then regarding the assets like machinery or any kind of fixed assets, land and building. Okay. Land and building, any kinds of assets of furniture, fixtures, like that you have lot of assets. Okay. So like that, any kind of assets, if you come across, all those things, everything will come under the real account only. Okay. At that time, you have to think whether you have to debit that real account or credit that account. Debit that concerned asset or credit that concerned asset, it depends upon the transaction given for you. Okay. So if you are selling means you have to credit what goes out. If you are buying means you will debit that, because debit what comes in. So that you have to keep it in mind, but it comes under the real account only. Then salary, and then whatever interest. Okay. And then discount. If it is an expense means, then it will come under the nominal account debit. Okay, debit all expenses and losses. If you are going to receive the same thing, if you are going to receive means like commission received or discount received, like that, then it will come under the same nominal account, but you have to credit, because credit rule is all incomes and gains. Okay. So you have to remember. And then one more thing is like if you have purchases and sales, like that, if you have, then accordingly you have to do. Okay. Purchases means always you have to debit. Okay. So debit, you have to debit that purchases account. Why? Because goods is coming into the business. So you have to debit the purchases account. Okay. Goods is coming into your business. Again, it comes under the real account only. Okay. Goods will come under the real account only. But here goods account you should not use. You have to use purchases account. And then sales also, it comes under the real account only. Okay. Where sales is goods going out of the business. So in that situation, you should not use goods account. You have to use sales account. You have to use personal purchases account accordingly. Purchases means always you will be debiting. Sales means always you will be crediting. These are the tricks to how to manage, how to make entries. Purchases means debit only. Sales means credit only. Okay. One situation only I told that purchases you have to credit withdrawn goods for personal use means in that situation it's very rare case. Okay. Purchases means you have to debit. Sales means you have to credit. That you remember. Okay. And salary every time you may be paying only. You may not receive. So obviously it has to be debited only. Okay. Nominal account rule. It comes under nominal. Interest, it depends upon the question. Either you're going to pay interest means nominal account rule, debit all expenses and losses. Then you will be debiting. Okay, interest if you are paying means you have to debit. Interest you are receiving from bank. If you have taken a loan from bank, if you are going to pay interest, then nominal account. Interest itself, it comes under nominal account only. So nominal account rule is what? Debit all expenses and losses. If you are going to pay interest, you have to debit interest account. If you are going to receive interest from bank, whatever for deposits, if you have made, you will be earning some interest out of it. So if you are going to receive some interest, you have to credit the interest account. So it depends upon the question only. So all these items, no, either it will come in the debit or it will come into the credit. If you are making payment expenses, if it is, you will debit. If you are receiving something, you will be crediting it. So these are the things which we can maximum discuss. And machinery, land and building, furniture, everything, if you are going to purchase means it is coming into your business. So in that situation, you will be debiting that. Okay, if you are making purchase, you have to debit. If you are making sale, no, you have to credit. Why you are debiting here, why you are crediting here means it is coming into the business. Real account rule, debit what comes in. Machinery, if it is coming, you have to debit. Machinery is going out of the business, that is if you are selling it out, any old machinery or old furniture, in that situation you have to credit that concerned account. Okay, so it depends upon the question only. So based upon the transaction given to you, accordingly you have to make entries. Yeah, based upon the questions only, you can find out whether it will come under the debit. Some of the items only we can surely tell it will come under the debit only. Okay, purchases account will for sure debit only. Sales for sure credit only you have to do. And salary, most probably you will be paying. So salary account you will be debiting. But interest, discount, all those things, it depends whether you are paying or you are going to get back, you are going to receive. It depends upon the question actually. And even machinery, land and building, which type of account it comes under, I can tell you. But debiting and crediting, that is depends upon the question. If it is a purchase, accordingly I have to do. If it is a sale, accordingly I have to do. So it depends upon. Even cash, if it is coming into your business means you can debit that. Cash is going out of your business means you have to credit only. Okay, and person's name also. If he is a receiver, I will be debiting him. If he is a giver, then I have to credit him. Okay, so it depends upon the transaction and questions only. Okay, so far it's clear to you whatever I have spoke to now, whether it is clear to you. Now did you get some clarity?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
Dharani?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anyone has got doubt with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
When I get confused in seventh entry, ma'am, you put drawing in
Seventh
debtor
entry.
and yes, ma'am. Drawing in purchase, drawing in debtor and purchase in credit account. That's why I get
Yes,
confused whether it is
because
drawn.
why we have given here is that since usually drawings account we have to debit, since it is a expense or loss it is considered, so we have to debit the drawings account. By why we are crediting this purchases, usually we debit the purchases account, but here it's goods, if it is coming into our business means okay we will debit. But here it is going out of my business. If I am running a small grocery store like that, if I am provision store something, and if I am taking for my own use, for my family use, if I am taking means now goods is going out of my business. So I have to credit your purchases account only, no other go. I cannot debit the purchases account. I have to credit the purchases account here. Most probably you will not be getting this much of tedious questions. Actually, it is the basic thing which 11th and 12th students must be knowing this. Okay, so they only must know all these things. Be actually final accounts only our main target. Our first unit it's all about. But even then, basic things only if you know, then you can go to the next stage. So that's what we are discussing in the class. Okay, so they must know because goods is going out of the business, so we are crediting the purchase account. Goods is going out, what goes out. So here out of my purchase only I am going to take some goods here. Okay, so I cannot mention here goods account or stock account like that. I cannot give it over here. So because of that only I have made here as two purchases account. Okay, so for and drawings account I have debited here. Okay, any doubts you
Purchase
have?
considered as a cash, ma'am. Just like purchase considered as
Considered like a cash, how you will be crediting, same way you are going to debit.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, instead of cash, you are going to credit the purchases account because you are taking goods instead of cash. So that's what you are crediting the purchases account.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Till this, anyone has doubt? Whatever the entries so far we have discussed, has anyone got doubts? We will be working out some 2-3 problems around in next other 2-3 classes. We will be working out. Okay, same model, how to work out those problems. Any doubt you have so far in the entries, whatever we have discussed, why we are debiting, why we are crediting? Any doubts you have? Any other person? Non-accounting students, is it clear whatever I'm speaking? Accounting base, all the students, is it clear to you? Are you people there?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear whatever I'm
Yes.
speaking?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 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 So let me move to the further where I stopped. So I think till sold goods to Mr. Z for cash, till that we discussed. So now let us move to sold furniture. Okay, still a few more entries are there. So we can finish up with that. Okay, sold furniture. So whenever you are making sale, your goods, if you are selling means sales account. Okay, sales account you have to credit. So that we have already discussed. Whenever you are selling goods means sales account you will be crediting, because goods is going out of the business. What goes out? Real account rule, what goes out. So sales account you are crediting. But here sales you should not mention. Instead of that, whatever asset you are going to sell out, no, that asset only you have to credit here. To furniture account. Okay, so to furniture account only you have to credit. So why I have debited cash, why I have credited furniture, I will explain you that one. So see, if you are going to sell out something, if you are going to sell a furniture, okay, so what is going out? Furniture is going out. So what is the rule? Furniture actually comes under which type of account? Real account. And real account rule is what? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So what is coming in while selling? Cash is coming in. What is going out? Furniture is going out. Okay, so cash is coming into my business. So real account cash will come under the real account. Debit what comes in. So debit what comes in real account rule. And cash furniture account I'm crediting to furniture account. Why? Because furniture is going out of my business. Credit what goes out. Okay, so because of that I am crediting the furniture account. Cash account debtor to furniture account. Cash is coming into my business while selling. So what comes in? Cash comes in. What goes out? Furniture goes out. So credit what goes out to furniture account. So being furniture sold for cash. Okay, sometimes instead of sold furniture means it is treated as for cash. Okay, I'm selling it for cash. Sometimes sold furniture for cash and they will be giving, then that also for cash only. Sometimes sold furniture to a particular person's name, a B or C or some person's name will be given. In that case, you have to consider it as a credit sales. So cash account debit you should not give as cash account debit. Instead of that, that person's name has to be debited there. Okay, sold furniture for cash means this is the entry. Whereas sold furniture means also this is the entry. But sold furniture to a particular person, sold furniture to Mr. B or to Mr. C, like that if they are giving means, then it is a creditor. Credit sales like you are selling out your furniture. Then cash account should not be coming here. Instead of cash account, you have to mention the person's name account, Mr. B or Mr. C, that person's name you have to mention. Why? Because he is the receiver here. Okay, so you have to mention the person's name, because personal account rule only the person name will be coming, debit the receiver. He is receiving, so you have to debit the person's name instead of cash account. Okay, so it depends upon the question only. Transaction basis வச்சு தான் நம்ம வந்துட்டு என்ன type of account கீழ வரும், and we have to debit or credit. It depends upon that only. Okay, so you have to be careful in making the entries. You have to understand better and think it logically at that time which type of account it comes and which rule is actually we have to do. We have to go in for debit or credit. Everything it depends upon. Okay, so it depends upon the transaction only. I think it will be clear for you. Sold furniture. And moving on to the next items. Goods returned to Mr. X. I think so I have to mention it as Mr. Y here. And here I have to mention it as Z. Okay, so most probably all these whatever we are going to look over now, these things are quite complicated only, but even then you must know what is this actually. Okay, goods returned to Mr. Y. So what is meant by this sentence, goods returned? If I am going to purchase, and if I am not satisfied with my whatever I got, I am going to return it back to that person. Okay, so if I am Mr. X, okay, I am purchasing from Mr. Y, and he has delivered me the goods. The goods which are arrived to my business, it's not satisfactory. It might be damaged or some defect is there, something is there. Okay, again I no need to further carry out. I just want to send him back again. So 2 lakhs I would have purchased. Around 50,000 or 40,000 goods might got damaged there. So entire thing I cannot say, but a few items or few goods would have damaged there, like around some 50,000 or 40,000 like that. Around 2 lakh purchase, 40,000 would have got damaged there. Okay, so now what I must do is that I have to make entry for that. Okay, so what you must know here, when you are making purchases return, whenever you have bought goods, you have to see the previous date transactions and all. Previously, when I made a purchase, okay, so previously on what date I have been made purchase, what dealings I have with that same person, all those things I must look it over. Okay, so I have made a purchase from that person means from that person you have to find out. I have made a purchase from him or I have sold goods to him, all those things I have to think it over. So I have purchased goods from Mr. Y on some date. Okay, so 11th or some date I have purchased from him, and due to some defects or damage from that goods, I am going to partly send him back again. Okay, so now what is the purchases entry here I have made? Purchase account debit to cash account, or purchase account to Mr. Y account. Let me take out this one. Purchase account debit to Mr. Y account. I have purchased from him. Okay, so I have purchased from him for credit basis only. I have purchased. Okay, think it is an assumption that for cash, if it is not given means, then it is an assumption that it is a credit purchase. So here you are going to make a first entry. Already you have made a purchase account debit to Mr. Y account. Now I am going to return him back the goods again. So what I have to do now, purchase account, if I have debited here means in upcoming entry, I have to credit that. So instead of credit, writing it as to purchase account, you have to write it as to purchases returns account. Okay, so I have to mention it as two purchases. Whatever I have debited goods while having it in my hand, while bringing into me to my business, I will be debiting that purchase account. But purchases returns is going out of your business. Goods is going out of your business. So you have to credit the two purchases account. Okay, so to whom I am returning back? To Mr. Y only I am sending back again. So Mr. Y account has to be debited here. So to here Mr. Y account data to purchases returns account. Goods is going. Okay, so what you have to do is purchases, if I am debiting means you have to remember that purchases returns has to be credited. Okay, you have to credit that. Similarly, sales, if you are remembering as credit means, sales account, if you aren't credit means, sales returns account. Sales returns account, what you have to do, no? You have to debit. That you have to remember. Okay, purchases account debit means purchases return account, you have to credit. Sales account, if you are going to credit means sales return account, you have to debit. This one you have to remember again. Okay, so let me move out to that one. So let me explain once more this one. So if you have purchased from a particular person, from Mr. Y on a particular date, 11th or 8th or some date. Later on, you found that goods is not worth or it is got damaged, something like that. If you want to return him back, whatever you have debited purchases account, you have to credit that as two purchases returns account, because goods is going out of your business. Again, it's going out, not entire thing. Around some 20,000 or 30,000 worth only you're going to send back again. Okay, so that amount only you will be mentioning it over here in credit account. Okay, two purchases return. So purchase account earlier I have debited, now purchases returns account I am crediting. Okay, and whom I am sending that goods, I am sending the to that person, Mr. Y, and the person ku திருப்பி நான் send பண்றேன். Okay, so on the person, if I'm going to send him, then he will be the receiver now. Okay, so personal account rule கீழ தான வந்துட்டு Mr. Y will be coming, personal account. Okay, so the receiver, so debit the receiver. So personal account rule is what? Debit the receiver. Okay, so அதனால அந்த பர்சனோட பேரை வந்துட்டு நான் டெபிட் பண்றேன். I am debiting Mr. Y account there. And why I am crediting the purchase return account? Already I have debited purchases account. Now I am crediting the purchases returns account because now goods is going out of my business. So what goes out? Credit what goes out? Real account rule. So goods is going out. So to purchase returns account. This you should remember. Purchases number debit panna, purchase returns I have to credit. Sales credit panna, sales return I have to debit. So this thing you have to remember well. Okay, and moving to sales returns. Sales returns means how to make the entry now. Okay, if I am going to return goods to some other person, if I am going to take back goods from some other person, so then only this purchase returns and sales return will be coming into picture. Okay, if the sentence you have to understand, goods returned to, I am going to return to that person. Goods returned by means that person is giving me back. If I am selling some goods around 70,000 like that. So later on that person has found that goods whatever I delivered around 10,000 goods are not worthy, or it has got destroyed or damaged, something like that. Then that person he can also return it back to me back again. So then whatever I have sold, it is coming to my business, then it is known as sales return. Okay, so you have to understand this word returned to or returned to by. Returned by, that you have to understand. Okay, goods returned to or goods returned by, there is some difference. Okay, okay, so that you must understand first. Next, the goods returned by means that person is returning me. Okay, so whatever I have sold is returning me means that is known as sales returns. So sales return account I have to debit because goods is again coming back to my business. What comes in? Goods comes in. So it is again coming to my business. And who is the giver now? Personal account rule is credit the giver. Who is giving me back? Mr. Rizet is giving me back again. Okay, so why I have debited sales return? One reason is goods is coming back again. So what comes in? So another sales return debit. Other thing how you can remember is previously if I sold means sales account I am crediting here. That sales account credit பண்ணும்போது sales return means I have to debit here. Okay, that you have to remember. Sales account credit means sales return account debit. Okay, and to Mr. Izzat account. Why I'm giving is to Mr. account? Because he is giving me. So he is the giver here. So what is the personal account rule? Credit the giver. So that's what to Mr. Izzat account I have given here. So being goods returned by Mr. Izzat. So that you have to give it in the narration, and whatever amount worth 10,000 or 15,000, whatever he has written back, that amount will be given it over here. I think we can stop with this one, and in next session we can discuss further more entries, what all things probably entries we might get in the same situation. We can discuss in the next session.